Hey, Taylor Johnson here. If you're listening to this, you've either made a great choice or you've accidentally clicked something while scrolling. Either way, you should stay. This is Pop Culture Pastor.
Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, Cody. Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
Happy New Year. I don't know.
Prospero año y felicidad.
Oh, well, the Spanish classes are paying off.
They are. Or just listening to Feliz Navidad on repeat.
Yes, very nice. Yeah. All right. Hello. It is, as we're recording, it is Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to all you listeners out there, or happy holidays.
And by the time you're listening to this, we're in the midst of the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things that kind of converge here at the end of the year.
And then we're getting ready for Epiphany. I'm the only one that's ever excited about Epiphany, and no one knows what Epiphany is.
Heard of it, have no idea what it is. What category does it fall into? The Epiphany.
So it is the culmination of the whole Christ child season with, oh, hey, the wise guys show up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because in real time, it's not really clear in the reading material. But that happened probably months, if not years later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we celebrate it 12 days later.
Okay. There we go.
And that's why you get the 12 days of Christmas.
With all the birds.
Yes.
There's so many birds being given as gifts.
And it's quite dangerous if you actually do follow through with it. I've seen The Office.
What the heck's a turtle dove? All right. Welcome. This is Pop Culture Pastor, the podcast. My name is Dave. Cody is here.
I am.
And it's just us today. And this is just kind of like a special little bonus Christmas gift. Some pods might take Christmas week off, not us.
That's not how we roll.
So we decided we were going to review a movie. And since this technically comes out the morning after Christmas, we felt like it didn't need to be totally Christmas themed.
It did not.
Now, imagine my surprise as I'm watching this movie, Cody, and it's totally sort of background Jesus themed.
It's very much so.
I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. I'm here to tell you that Knives Out, a Wake Up Dead Man, is very much about the themes we tend to talk about on Sundays at church.
With the background of the whole Easter Lenten season.
Yeah. The whole, almost the entire movie takes place in the church. And it's, first of all, I just had a great time watching it. And it would totally surprised me.
It did lead me to actually look something up that I had wondered in the past, but never had the gumption to look it up on Google. Mm-hmm. What a Monsignor is.
What is it?
It is a priest that has actually been blessed by the Pope.
What? Oh.
So that adds something to this.
It
has the person has recognition from the Pope.
Okay. So Josh Brolin, not James Brolin. Josh Brolin's character of Monsignor Jefferson Wicks.
Yeah.
Has been blessed by the Pope at some point. That's pretty cool. Does add some gravitas to that. All right, so yeah, there's going to be spoilers here. Just to let you all know, if you haven't watched Knives Out Wake Up Dead Man yet, it's on Netflix. You should totally go watch it and then come back and listen to this episode because we're going to talk about it all. We're gonna spoil this. Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Second highest rated Knives Out movie.
Yeah. November 26th was its technical release date. They released it to like a couple hundred movie screens, I think.
Not mine.
Nowhere around here. But before the wide release on Netflix itself, it's directed by Ryan Johnson. PG-13. was the rating, and I thought, I can let my younger daughter watch this with us. Is the PG-13 thing getting a little less stringent?
Yeah, I think that there's more things that are societal norms that allow it to creep into the PG-13 realm that maybe in the early aughts.
In particular, the Monsignor's confession scenes.
He
Though
was wild. And
even though the viewer is supposed to put together that the Monsignor's lying, that he's just trying to get a reaction out of the young Father Judd.
he got a reaction out of me.
That'll do it. Yeah. And we will not repeat what he was confessing, but well, yeah, wild. 2 hours and 24 minutes long. Was this too long, Cody?
So I honestly didn't feel the full 2 hours and 24 minutes. Like we watched the second Wicked movie, and that one felt like 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Absolutely, it did.
This one felt like it was brushing up against 2 hours. And when I looked at my clock, I was like, oh, this was longer.
Yeah. Let me read the blurb here for you. It's a short blurb, but a blurb nonetheless. A baffling death inside a quiet church draws Benoit Blanc into a tense investigation where faith, secrets, and suspicion blur as a close community turns against itself. So, this is a continuation of the Benoit Blanc series that started with Knives Out. It feels like a Benoit Blanc movie, which are quickly becoming like one of my favorite string of movies, franchises, whatever we want to call it. There's no real numbers for like gross or anything like that because it's not a theater release movie, right?
It's not.
It comes out on Netflix, and we can talk about that later, I'm sure. But right here off the top, Cody, do you have any broad takes about just the movie or this series as a whole?
This series as a whole doesn't miss.
No. Yeah.
And each movie has like phenomenal storytelling and casting. This one, it definitely connects to a certain group of people, and I'm kind of excited to explore some of that deeper themes because within our culture, I think there's more people that are open about it. And so, yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I really enjoy this series. I think it's one of my favorite ongoing franchises currently. And I think it learned something that the MCU figured out in its first set of movies, you know, the Infinity Saga or whatever, but it's since forgotten, which is once you set up the world, the template for the world that you're playing in, which in the MCU, it's Marvel superheroes. In Benoit Blanc's world, it's Benoit Blanc world, right? What we really want is a Benoit Blanc story where the detective comes in. He's very Sherlock Holmes. Ryan Johnson's not inventing anything new here.
He is.
Contrarian Cody. But it's all about Benoit Blanc and him coming in and solving a mystery in an entertaining way. But Ryan Johnson has figured out this idea of like these movies can feel kind of wildly different. Because the tone can shift. Even the genre can feel like it moves around a little bit. There's visual style shifting here. And these movies feel unique in a lot of ways compared to the last one. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But Ryan Johnson's thematic stuff here, it's obvious he doesn't just want another puzzle. This isn't cookie cutter patterns that he just wants to play over and over again. There's a different emotional center in each movie, and he explores the idea of faith and doubt simultaneously in this movie, and it works those themes into the mystery from the start instead of, trying to kind of fit this in later and artificially. And it's just so good. And so, yeah, Rian Johnson, to prepare for this movie, he had dinner with 6 Catholic priests to try and help him inform the portrayal of clergy in this movie, the spiritual undercurrents. And so he has talked about that conversation directly influencing one of the film's pivotal scenes. Of course, the tone and the visual style are shifting. There's a gothic feel in this movie to where, like, when you find out that no, they're in America.
Oh yeah,
it feels weird.
And what part of America they are in is interesting.
Where was it? Where were they at?
I believe they were in upstate New York.
Yes, yeah, in New York. So it's a gothic cathedral in upstate New York. And all of it feels, the tone just makes it all feel very, very interesting. So, you had like almost like a coziness of the first Knives Out. That just had a cozy feel. And then the last one, Glass Onion, it was all like very sunny because they're in like this tropical locale.
Yeah. And the first one is like very gloomy, but it's like the dead of winter.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then you get to this one and it just feels like there's this dramatic contrast to everything that's being filmed here. You have this gothic cathedral. There's more playing around with shadows and the atmosphere to kind of go along with it. And so, yeah, I just really appreciate Rian Johnson and all the different feelings and tonal feelings of all these movies. The title Wake Up Dead Man comes from a U2 song, Cody.
I love U2.
Yeah, who doesn't? And it continues the franchise's playful habit, like Glass Onion, of drawing inspiration from music. On a similar note, the mystery structure plays with audience expectations. Unlike previous films, Benoit Blanc doesn't enter this story until about 40 minutes in.
Yeah, I was like, where is my detective to solve this?
So by the time I figure out that, it's been a while in this Benoit Blanc movie before we get to see Benoit Blanc, I realized a lot of time had passed before I even thought about it, which speaks to the storytelling and one particular actor who we will get to in What's Good, I'm sure. But this gives him less early screen time in this movie that compared to the other ones is a little bit different. It's almost like a Gandalf the White moment when he shows up.
Very much so.
Because literally he's the answer to prayer. As Father Judd the murder has happened. Everyone is pointing at him. He understands that even the police are suspecting he's the main suspect in the central murder. And he's on the floor of the church going, God, please help me send somebody. And the door slams open and it's Benoit Blanc, which was just a little inspired bit of filmmaking.
It was.
And I loved it. So basically, if you need the broad plot here, you are following a young priest, Father Judd, who is sent to this kind of rural upstate New York cathedral where the Monsignor is leading his own little cult of personality thing here.
Very much so.
And there's all this like lore that goes along with the character of this church, including a missing fortune and people who are still around that witnessed all this, and some suspicious deaths, and just some weirdness that are kind of involved, and some scapegoating too that are involved with this church. Anyways, Father Judd quickly finds out that the Monsignor isn't like a great dude, and the Monsignor gets killed. He gets murdered. And then the whole story kind of revolves around Benoit Blanc and Father Judd solving this murder.
It does. It's good.
Yeah, it's very good. And so that's just kind of it. We will spoil more specifics, but if you want the rest of the story, you should go watch the movie.
Please and thank you.
Cody, what's good about this movie?
First thing, like every time almost, the cast.
Yeah. That's Cody's stock answer, and it sure fits with this one.
Of course, you have Daniel Craig as Benoit, and Mila Kunis is still with us.
Wait, quick question. Is Benoit Blanc more iconic role for Daniel Craig than James Bond? Like, will you remember Daniel Craig more as Benoit Blanc?
Right now, I lean James Bond, but I imagine a younger generation, it's easily Benoit Blanc.
Yeah. It'd be an interesting question to ask people. Like, I don't think he's the best Bond, in my opinion. Or I would have thought that before the Knives Out stuff. So for me, it's easy to just say, man, no, this dude is Benoit Blanc. Like, to me, he's the more iconic character for him. But go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, Mila Kunis, still with us.
Mila Kunis.
Jeremy Renner.
Also still with us.
Still with us.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
For that.
And then my favorite character from Wings, Thomas Hayden Church. He's still with us. And I'm like, hey, there's 3 people that I didn't know were still acting. Glenn Close, she's phenomenal in everything she does. Josh Brolin, 2025 might be his year because he's been in several things.
He's been in many things that we've reviewed.
And then JGL gets to do a baseball announcement. That's the only time you hear him, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But he's in all the Knives Out movies.
Is he?
You gotta look for him though, or listen for him in this case. Jeffrey Wright in a very small role, but a very important role.
But earns his screen time, man.
Yes.
You remember him.
And then Josh O'Connor, who I had no idea who he was, he did an amazing job amongst all these heavyweights of the silver screen.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? Because, like, imagine having Thomas Hayden Church, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin. By the way, if you're looking for the common theme there, they're all Oscar-nominated actors. Having them that far down the cast list as you know, and then you talk about Kerry Washington, Jeffrey Wright. These are wonderful actors who are just bit supporting parts. And that's kind of wild. These movies have taken on a life of their own in this idea that he gets these incredible casts for these movies. And a lot of them are just playing these supporting characters. So you just get a real good look at how good these actors are. Jeffrey Wright has what? 1.5 minutes of total screen time. And you don't forget him.
Nope.
You'll remember he's in this movie. He's great.
He's a very pivotal figure in how you perceive the rest of the movie early on.
Yeah. What else is good?
So I love that they don't shy away from what I'm going to label as church hurt, and you get it from multiple perspectives of like being a pastor or a priest going through tough situations with the parishioners and or your fellow clergymen. Also, you get it from some of the parishioners' perspectives, and the church, it's full of broken people. Broken people are going to hurt other broken people. But sometimes it's so clear and obvious that something needs to be done, something needs to change. But some churches try to hold on to worldly things and maintain power structure instead of like, oh, maybe this person shouldn't be our leader.
Yeah.
And churches need to get better at apologizing when those types of people are in their pulpits.
Yeah. How does this Rian Johnson movie understand better than the church sometimes that you're dealing with real humans who are real broken? Mm-hmm. And instead of judging them, which we could literally sit here and judge everyone, we're all imperfect. Instead of judging them, we give them grace, which should be the church's thing, right? That should be our thing. And yet this movie so wonderfully depicts this idea of how the church kind of fails to do it. This church spectacularly and almost cartoonishly fails to do it, because there's a whole story inside the story, right? The whole setup for this is the Monsignor's grandfather had a daughter who was a little bit of a black sheep.
Yes.
And the church's cruelty to her, which is central to kind of like the lore I was talking about. And you're not really clear that the church is cruel to her until later on. Mostly you see it from the people's perspective that were around, which is like, she was demonic, like, which from that, like the way Rian Johnson framed the flashback scene was just perfection. You get that. You see it from their angle, and it feels cartoonish because it's supposed to feel cartoonish. It's not reality.
Yes.
What else is good? Sorry.
So I did love some of the ridiculousness of things, like Our Lady of Perpetual Fortitude. That's what the church's name is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the only issue with it really is that it's a Catholic church and they wouldn't be able to just willy-nilly change the name. But there is some churches that, yeah, we're going to change it to something very strong sounding like that.
Like, listen, if you don't know, like, here, just a little church critique here. Some of y'all's churches, you might as well be named Our Lady of whatever Fortitude, because
Perpetual Fortitude,
because y'all have built some nice little fortresses there.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, but that was funny. That was hilarious, because some of us have renamed our churches that without doing it.
Exactly. And yeah, no, that was something, as someone within church culture, I was like, that's great.
It was. Rian Johnson, it's clear Rian has some church background. Like, he grew up around the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes the best and harshest critiques can come from people who lived it inside.
Yes. Great storytelling. It makes the viewer try to figure out what's going on, who's really behind all the mystery of it. And you definitely connect to some characters, and you see some comps of some, I would say, modern day archetypes within our culture right now. And yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah. The things are on my what's good list, and I felt like this could have gone forever. Like, everything, there's so much good about this movie, so I narrowed it down to 3. Josh O'Connor as the lead. I'm like you. I have no idea who this guy is. You literally surround this guy with Oscar-nominated actors, just this hugely star-studded cast, and then he leads it, and he was fantastic, Cody. Like, he was just great. He has this quiet intensity. But his character feels emotionally grounded. Like, it's not a showy performance by him. And I think casting a younger, less famous actor at the center of this ensemble, it does a couple things. One, it makes you feel that the world is more real, right? Like, instead of like Tom Cruise at the center of this, which makes it already feel a little cartoonish, Nothing against Tom Cruise, but he's like huge. It's like casting Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger in an 80s action flick. It instantly makes it feel cartoonish.
Yeah, and with the first one, I mean, Ana de Armas wasn't a big name until like Knives Out like propelled her, even though like you could look back and be like, oh, she was in this and this. And looking at his filmography, he was in Challengers, The Sound of History, The Mastermind, here all within the past year. And so like he's in things, but like I don't know him from those things. And now I'm like, oh, Challengers, which I've been putting off watching, I might actually go watch now.
Yeah. And so instantly, one of the things that it does by putting this kind of lesser known actor in the middle of all these huge actors is his character immediately lends more reality to it.
Yes.
You feel sucked in by the story instead of the faces, right? The second thing is you feel like you're watching a real person. It goes into that reality instead of a brand. You know, this could quickly all turn into a gimmick, a template for Rian Johnson. And by doing this, by giving us this fresh face, even while putting these highly talented people around him that are well known, it keeps it grounded in a way. And there's a real humility to Josh's performance in this. And I thought it was just great. Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, all that being said, is still wonderful and charming as Benoit, but different. I love that Benoit Blanc himself is the same and different in every installment of this so far.
Yeah.
Because what you're getting in this one is a more subdued Benoit Blanc. He's not quite as... he doesn't turn into a caricature. He's kind of dialed back, where he seems more real in this one than he did to me in Glass Onion.
And the way that this one ends with the big reveal, I don't think you would have got that Benoit Blanc in the first two movies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I did love the subtle shifts within Benoit, and you are still getting the world's greatest detective.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, at some point, but there is a key scene where he sacrifices his reputation, which feels like that wouldn't have happened in Glass Onion. That Benoit might not have, but this Benoit does, and it's very, very interesting. And then finally, the thoughtful take on faith. We talk a lot about the depiction of the church in Hollywood stuff, and it ranges from the caricature and the easy slamming of the church that Hollywood does quite a bit, to be fair, most of the time. Mm-hmm. And instead, you have faith not being used as a punchline or the bad guy or just as an aesthetic. What's presented is faith as wrestling in this movie, which, perfect. Chef's kiss.
You can't wrestle far away.
No. And so the movie treats belief and doubt and guilt and moral blindness with the seriousness and gravitas that it deserves. But it asks questions instead of handing out your answers that might make you feel righteous, which feels very rare and quite refreshing when it comes to our media in this day and age. Faith in this movie isn't about certainty. It's about what these people do, what humans do when certainty sort of is collapsing around you.
Yes. And I do like the way at the very, very end, they renamed the church to Our Lady of Perpetual Grace.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's new people coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's wonderful. Cody, what's not so good about this movie?
Okay, so I actually do have something. I was wrestling with it. So I'm going to bring up a tweet that I saw, because during the movie, I was kind of, especially at the very end, I'm like, there's something that bothers me and I don't know how to word it. So Barry on Twitter put, I saw the new Knives Out movie. While it's entertaining, my biggest gripe with the whodunit movies is when the final reveal happens, there are always several elements to it that the audience would have no way of knowing beforehand. A twist only works if it was in front of people's faces the whole time without them knowing. And there's definitely key elements that you don't know until, like, oh, the big reveal. But also, someone else responded, I feel like Knives Out movies are more so observing the character of Benoit Blanc as he unravels the mystery rather than the viewer trying to solve it themselves. And so it kind of depends on your viewpoint. And so, like, I wrestled with that, especially during the past two Knives Out movies. First one, I didn't really care so much or was thinking about it that much. But the second one, I was like, well, I don't know that she has a twin sister and that everyone already knew she was dead. And like, boom, big reveal that no one knew except for Benoit Blanc beforehand. And then he just releases all this information on all the other people. And you get a little bit of this within that one.
Yeah. I would say that I understand the tweet, first of all. I dig it. This isn't M. Night Shyamalan, where the whole movie kind of leads up and is about this twist.
What a twist.
It's not really meant to be about that. It's not even a mystery that you're supposed to be taking part in. That's where it might make itself a little different than like a Sherlock Holmes book by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, right? You're not along for the ride in the mystery so much to solve it yourself. To like my wife, she takes a lot of pride in solving the mystery in movies. Like she famously talks all the time about how she figured out the village was in the present day, like 15 minutes into that movie. And yes, I would say she did say that, but everyone gets lucky every once in a while. If I could compile the list of times she has not been right.
The trees are doing in The Happening.
It's the trees. But I would say that I think Rian Johnson isn't really, he's not here for just the twist ending.
Yes.
He's telling you something deeper than M. Night Shyamalan is, in my opinion.
And it's different that way than, like you said, a Sherlock Holmes book or a movie where like, it's definitely leading up to this and you're supposed to be trying to put yourself in the figuring out who done it. Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot more nuance to it, but it is a subtle shift from your standard murder mystery movie.
Mm-hmm. And that's like the tweet itself. I see what he's saying, and it's subjective, right? Not objective.
Yes.
Where Ryan can make the movie and tell the story, but that doesn't help the person who wants to come in and solve a mystery. That's the entertainment value they get out of it. To which I would say, well, Rian Johnson has a tendency of doing this, doesn't he? Like, he wasn't so concerned with, telling a Star Wars story that Star Wars geeks wanted to hear. He was concerned with just using that universe and telling a deep story. And a lot of fans didn't like that.
I loved it.
I loved it too. I thought it was a great movie. I thought Last Jedi was probably the best sequel out of all three of those.
I'll name it and claim it.
But I know a lot of people disagree with that. And so, yeah. There's not a lot wrong with this movie.
I mean, I needed more Lyle from Wings.
That's not the point. The point is they're supposed to be. By the way, he is in this movie for one reason and one reason only, to make you think he's the bad guy the entire time. Because early on, I'm placing, like if I'm a betting man, I'm placing even odds on him. From the first time I see him, I was like, oh, this guy did it. I don't even know what he did yet, but he did it.
Well, especially when he says, the love of my life.
Yeah.
And
he's in love with Martha, the old church lady.
He really doesn't care anything so much about the church or the pastor. It's really just his wife. And so you're like, oh, he must have done something for her. And but no. Yep. It wasn't Lyle from Wings.
I think this is my complaint about this movie is going to be born out of appreciation overall. Because I think Rian Johnson pretty clearly delivers on so much in these stories. You kind of have to zoom out and look at the broad picture to find the flaws. And here's the issue is with the movie. It's not with the movie specifically. It's how we watch it. Let's talk about the Netflix at home limitations here.
Oh, yeah.
Because this movie has wonderful cinematography. It literally begs for a theatrical experience. They do give this like token couple hundred screen release now in the big cities.
Lame.
But it's not a wide release. And when you have cinematography like this, I don't know. There's something about this when I'm watching it that I just feel like, man, I would love to see these movies in the theater. And the scale kind of does matter when you take in a movie. It'd be like watching, okay, so for example, when Twister came out when I was a kid, when I was younger, it was right in the first days of like the surround sound in the theaters and the THX, is that the initials? Yeah. Intro, and it just was powerful. And seeing that movie in the theater is what made that experience. Because when you watch Twister on the small screen, I'm like, it's a movie.
Yep.
And it's no longer as impressive or as fun as it was in those original theatrical experiences. So there's something to the theatrical experience that I wish I got to experience Benoit Blanc in on opening night. The excitement.
So with that, especially like with Josh Brolin's character, the Monsignor, it's like he's a larger than life character, and even the pulpit is like over the top. Like if you had that much bigger scale,
yeah,
and with the new projections and the brighter colors, especially in a Gothic style cathedral.
Yeah.
And then when Benoit Blanc does his showmanship of getting in the pulpit, like that moment would have landed so much like bigger.
Right. And so that's what I'm trying to explain. And you spelled this out well. When you're in the theater experience, there are scenes and things that happen in a movie that make you feel like you are in the movie. You're in the story. And it's not that I don't appreciate the Netflix experience of being able to pause it because my dog's barking or one of the kids needs something or I have to go to the bathroom or I need a snack. I appreciate all that. But sometimes I want to be inside the movie more. And I feel like, especially like during the fire and brimstone speeches that the Monsignor gives, there would have been something about the theatrical experience and then the experience when Benoit Blanc shows up in all his glory, or when he has his quote unquote Damascus moment.
Yes.
Like there's something about that begs to be seen experiencing it in the theater and inside the story. But that's just me. A small minor gripe.
Yeah. Not the end of the world, but I am also kind of shocked that Netflix isn't trying to push their way into the theater system, just because it seems like more movies are now doing the shorter releases, aren't going as widespread.
Yeah.
And so like they could then oversaturate the market and basically commandeer it, do a hostile takeover. Like,
does it feel like they're hedging their bets a little? Because, I mean, like you got the whole Warner Brothers thing.
Still up in the air.
Yeah, but it seems like Netflix, the front runner for all this is that Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers library, whatnot.
Just waiting for the government to say, you betcha.
Does it feel like they're hedging their bets? They seem to be the big player here, and wherever they go is kind of seems like where the industry is going to move into. But you're right. Like, I think if Netflix wanted to and say, Netflix said, we want to make a concentration and focus on theatrical releases, then everybody else would follow suit. Am I wrong?
No. And I mean, I think now would be the time, unless there just is like we have been conditioned to no longer want the theatrical release.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, I'm an old head, so I would give me the theater.
So I'm old enough to remember when DVDs came out in two formats, of full screen and widescreen. Mm-hmm. And I had friends that were snobs, just complete snobs, and were like, don't buy the full screen. You buy the widescreen. It's what the director wanted you to see, Cody.
Full screen's just a waste of money, Cody.
And they would say that. And like with most movies, I don't think you usually miss that much. With great directors, you do. Mm-hmm. But like, oh, I'm missing a tree in the background? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're not watching Dude, Where's My Car and being like, you got the full screen? You're missing out on all this great cinematography. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
Yes.
Like, there should be like 20% more White Castle here. And you're just missing it because of the full screen.
But yeah, I do think that there is a difference even between theatrical and our nice high quality televisions now with Netflix and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So
It'll be interesting to see where it all goes. I don't know. Let's do recast it. Do you ever recast it?
so this isn't Muppetizing. It's
No.
recasting.
Yes. Which this is hard with a cast like this.
It is, and I'm going to feel bad because I did say that she was in What Was Good, but Mila Kunis could have been played by anyone, honestly.
Absolutely. I agree with that statement. She didn't do poor per
Nope.
se. She's just not memorable.
So at this point, why don't we just have one of Ryan Johnson's old friends, Daisy Ridley from the new Star Wars sequels, be Mila Kunis?
Could have been anybody. She is. First of all, when did female sheriff become like the trope?
I don't know.
Was it Fargo?
Probably.
Did Fargo do this? Because now it's all about like the female sheriff.
Oh, yes.
It's just really interesting, the tropes now, because there's a whole like movie coming out, I think, pretty soon that I saw a trailer for, dealing with like a female police officer leader of some sort. Doesn't have to be a sheriff, just be someone in charge. But this seems to be a trope now. But yeah, at least give her some character. We know nothing about her character. She is a cardboard standout of a police officer in this movie.
She's like, Benoit, I'll use your abilities. Benoit, I'm done with your abilities.
I'd say with this recast it, when a movie's good like this, you have to be a bit nitpicky. So I'm going to give this isn't a bad performance complaint. This is a vibe complaint. Jeremy Renner as Dr. Nat. I like Jeremy Renner. He's solid. He's dependable as an actor. He's likable. And I feel like that's kind of the problem here. Dr. Nat needs more under the surface. I don't know if the word I'm looking for is menace, but I feel like Dr. Nat needs just a little bit more that Renner is not your guy for. Just a little bit more threatening, a little bit more. I understand he's a doctor and he's got bedside manner and he should feel, because the end is going to go a certain way and we need to know that he was not a great guy in this. He needs to be sort of innocent up front. They all seemed like, all the other actors seem like they have a possibility that they're the guilty party. And I think that's by design, because I think what this story is trying to tell is that everybody in the congregation is complicit and has guilt in the matter. But Renner feels like, I don't know, he just feels off to me. My recast pick would be Michael Shannon.
Oh, yeah.
And I just feel like having that actor in that role would have been, it's again, nothing against Renner. It's more of a vibe. And I just feel like Shannon instantly changes the vibe of that character. And my biggest problem with Renner and Dr. Nat is he doesn't feel as complicit early on as the other ones do. The other ones all seem shady to me. He does not at first.
So, honestly, I think if their ages were closer, you could trade Jeremy Renner and Lyle from Wings in roles, and I think that Jeremy Renner would make a great husband that would do something. Mm-hmm. And
Renner's a little young for Glenn Close, and
so,
Thomas Hayden Church a little old.
Well, Thomas Hayden Church is like 13 years younger than Glenn Close.
Yeah, but he looks old.
He does in this movie, at least.
And to be fair, Glenn Close looks great.
She does.
For, I don't know how old she is.
78.
I was going to say, she has to be almost 80. She looks great. Good for her. But yeah, it's a nitpick, but I picked someone. Michael Shannon. I think he makes the movie better just by vibes.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about deeper themes. I think to set up deeper themes, we have to talk about the end of this movie, though.
Okay.
So the whole Like, listen, if the spoilers have been light for you and you don't want the big spoiler, stop listening now, seriously, and then come back, watch the movie and come back. But the whole end of this movie comes down to Martha, played by Glenn Close, the old church lady, is the one behind this. With, there's other people who are complicit or taking part in the scam, but it's all to find this Eve's apple, this jewel that generations before was found, and the Monsignor's grandfather literally swallowed to try and take it with him as he died and hid from the church and his daughter.
It was a choice.
Yeah. And so Martha at the end confessing to Father Judd her guilt. And it's just wonderfully moving. I was not ready for how moving this moment was at the end of this film, because the ending kind of quietly flips the entire genre in a way of these movies, because these are movies about a detective. It's about truth. It's about uncovering guilt and judgment. And yet in its final moments, this movie refuses to judge. Martha's confession is the turning point. So she names her guilt. She doesn't excuse it. She's repenting. She doesn't run from it. And she's bringing it into the light. And Father Judd's response in this moment is like, if you could take the words of Jesus and put them on film into a parable.
Yeah.
This is perfect, because he does not pronounce judgment. He's not minimizing what she's done. He's not absolving her cheaply. Instead, he pastors her. He walks her through confession, through true repentance. And then at the end, she's still not willing to let go of her anger and judgment over the Grace. By the way, perfect that her name is Grace, by the way. But the demonic, quote unquote, child of the grandfather, who was just looking for the riches, but is looking for the riches because it's her way out of this oppressive, judgmental system that she's been trapped in, because everyone's judging her. And ultimately, Pastor Judd will not let her die without letting go of this bitterness for Grace, because she asks for it. She says, please forgive the Monsignor. Please forgive these people. And and Father Judd, this was highly moving. He says, and Grace. And you can see her fist balling up, and she's like not going to say it. And then her fist starts to release, and she says, and Grace, that poor girl. And Cody, I just fell out. I just fell out, because this is grace without denial. There's accountability without condemnation here. This movie's boldest move is it's a story built around solving and exposing, but the final act is about shepherding. The detective story gives way to something deeper. And I'm just shocked that the whole movie comes down to this, that the work for caring at the soul at the end of its road, and the biblical echo here is unmistakable. Do not judge the brokenness of humanity. Love humanity in spite of the brokenness. And I just thought, this is crazy. In the end, we have a detective story that understands something essential, that the deepest truths are not uncovered by judgment, but by love.
Yes, and it was very good to see that happen, because throughout this movie, that is who Father Judd wanted to be.
Yes.
He wanted to be someone that lived out this calling upon his life, wanted to not be making the world into wolves, but be recognizing them as lost sheep, and to be showing grace. And he keeps getting reminded of his past. Martha is bitter towards him throughout the whole movie, and there would be some people that would say, no, she wronged you so many times, shove her off to the side. But no, he lives out his calling. He loves people, because that's what his calling is. And that everyone's broken. This is what I'm here to do.
Yep. Now, there's a secondary one here, though. Let's talk about Benoit Blanc. And this one, there's no closure for at the end of the movie.
No.
You as a viewer, you're just left to kind of deal with the ramifications. But there's a point in the movie where Father Judd has what he tells Benoit Blanc is a Damascus moment, referring to the roads of Damascus where Saul of biblical literature becomes Paul, where he has a post-ascension visit from Jesus, and it changes everything about him, everything about his life, who he is, essentially. And Father Judd says, I had this Damascus moment. Now, there's a big part of the film where in order for the whole thing to get solved, in order for the person to step forward and admit guilt, they have to feel the guilt. And Benoit Blanc does something on video, because there's a guy in the film who's like an influencer.
Trying to be a politician,
And-
but doing it through YouTube.
Yeah, and it's seeded throughout the entire film that Benoit Blanc's a known guy. People know him. He's this famous investigator, detective.
He was on like the Today Show.
He's on The View.
Or The View,
Yeah, The
yes.
View, yeah, which was a funny line. But Benoit intentionally sacrifices his reputation, and there's a light that comes through the church window when he does it. And he later says, it was my Damascus moment, where that I learned from Father Judd, is that here's an atheist who learns that there's power in sacrifice. See, what's never unsaid, like, look, Benoit Blanc at the end of the movie is still an atheist. He still does not believe in God, but he cannot refute that there's power in sacrifice, which is very interesting to me as a pastor or minister.
Very much so.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a wonderful little storyline. You can tell Rian Johnson's a guy who grew up in a church setting.
Yeah, there's so many like deeper moments within this film, even at the very beginning when Father Judd's getting his initial placement, like after punching another priest, that like, oh, we're going to villainize this or that, and we need fighters, and we don't need fighters.
Yeah. And again, another theme was the church hurt you brought up earlier. How, does the mother of the Monsignor Grace, who we've talked about, and how awful she's depicted at first. And she's not a perfect human by any accounts. She's got lots of flaws, but how much more flawed does she become because of the judgment of the church?
Yep.
So the church hurt thing is there. That's another deep theme and real stuff that we can think about. It's good stuff.
Yes. This movie operates on such a higher level than I had expected it to before I actually watched it.
These are the depictions of faith, religion, church that I appreciate in stories. They're just real. They're not surface. And I appreciate that. And they don't have an axe to grind. He's just telling you a story. It's good stuff. Who's the winner of this movie, Cody?
For me, it's the actor that plays Father Judd. I mean, he might have been in some things before this, but again, not a well-known name. And now he is one of the faces of one of the best continuing franchises out there. And so, I'm here for it.
I'm glad I didn't pick him because I thought about going with him because he, unquestionably, that's a correct answer. I was just so impressed with Josh O'Connor. But I'm going to go with director Rian Johnson. This series, the Knives Out series, and who would have ever thought this when you're getting ready to watch the first one? I just thought I was going to watch a not mindless, but just fun cinema experience of a detective story, blah, blah, blah. But each entry of this feels so distinct. Like it has different tone, different themes, different moral questions. And it's not just the stories, but the character himself. Benoit Blanc is sort of an evergreen character. He's endlessly watchable. You can drop him into any sort of environment, any culture, and it still works. And in fact, Benoit Blanc is subtly different with each installment. Like we said in the last one in Glass Onion, he's sort of cartoonish. He's like a caricature almost. And this one, he's dialed way back. Like he's a serious detective in this one. And he doesn't have as many funny moments as he did in the previous ones. But the stories within the story here, Ryan Johnson isn't just solving murders. These are mysteries he's using mysteries as parables to explore things like class, truth, faith, guilt, judgment. This is how franchises should work. Each film is a moral parable wrapped in a genre, crowd-pleasing movie, and I think it's great. I think Ryan Johnson is one of our greatest working filmmakers today. I said it. I think he's up there.
You're not wrong.
And I just will watch anything he does at this point. I think he's great. Cody, who's your loser of the movie?
I know who should be the loser. They aren't the loser, but I want to call them the loser anyway. It's Netflix. They should do theatrical releases for a standard amount of time across a widespread area, not just limited theaters. Like, I will say in one respect, they are easily the loser just because that conversation has come up a lot more with this movie and the Warner Brothers purchase announcement. That has been a bigger conversation. But with how critically well this movie has done, and only being a few percentage points off the first one, even though I think I prefer this one over the first one. Yeah, I'm going with Netflix.
Yeah, I'm going to play off that because I think you're right. And the loser of this movie for me, because you're right, are movie theaters. Knives Out is powerful. It's a great franchise. They're movies. It's not a series. You know, it's not like it's Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But this story is consistent. It's not going anywhere. I feel like they could make, if they don't make at least 10 of these, I'm going to be disappointed. And as cinematic franchises continue to fizzle out, like we're sitting here, we've been talking the better part of the last few years, Cody, on what's wrong with the MCU, what's wrong with DC, what's wrong with all these franchises that just continue to underperform. And we're watching truly great franchise stuff go on in the streaming section. And so that's the irony, is that no, the franchises aren't dying. They're just migrating, and movie theaters are missing out on these stories that reward attention and invite discussion and would actually bring people back to the theater. And Knives Out proves that audiences still want smart stories, adult themes, and characters that you can follow over multiple stories.
My parents loved the first Knives Out movie, but since this was only on Netflix, they don't have Netflix.
No.
And so they're like, oh, well, that sounds like a good movie. Is it in movie theaters right now? I'm like, no. Well, will it be on one of the two streamers that they have? And I'm like, no. My bad, parents.
Your poor parents. How many Eve's apples out of 10 are you giving Knives Out? Dead Man, Wake Up Dead Man. I keep wanting to say Dead Man Walking. Different movie.
I'll go 9.25.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. It's 8.5 for me. Highly enjoyable movie. Very, very good. And I'm here for many more of these.
So I'm good for a mystery movie. Like, what's going on? If it makes my brain operate, I will give it like at least half a point higher than I would just your basic popcorn flick.
Yeah. What did you guys think of Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man? Are you a fan of Benoit Blanc and the Rian Johnson series of movies? Let us know what you think in the social media posts for this. And as always, we would love it if you would subscribe to the pod on the platforms that you use. Give us some reviews on the platforms that you use. And also share our social media stuff as well, because that helps us grow. And growing is good. It's good for all of us because we can do more things. We can try more things. We can get to more Comic Cons, which at the end of the day is really the only reason we did this. Because we wanted to create community while the world seems to be trying to separate us, split us apart. So we take what we have in common, which is a love for stories, and we want to come out and see you at comic conventions everywhere. So do all those things. Let us know which Comic Cons we should go to. We want you to have a happy rest of your holiday season and a wonderful new year. We'll see you next week.